everyone, welcome back for part 2 of the presentation. So you have a student with EBD, Emotional Behavioral Disabilities. This presentation is designed for teachers who are supporting students in the mainstream setting. My name is Tabitha Baldy and I'm a program specialist for students with disabilities, and I specialize in students with emotional behavioral disabilities and students who display problem behaviors in all categories. So you have a student with EBD, now what? Well, I believe that teachers know best and that teachers actually learn best from other teachers. So in the fall of 2012, I actually sent out an email to several teachers who I have found to be extremely successful working with students with severe problem behaviors. And I asked them the following question. If you could give all gen ed teachers 5 behavioral management skills or techniques for dealing with students who display problem behaviors, what would they be? And each teacher actually responded in their own unique way. And it was interesting because they didn't know each other's responses. They did not collaborate. They did not even know that I had asked more than one or two of them the question. And it was interesting because many of the responses had reoccurring themes. And I've included some of those themes in the slides to follow. And I did not tell the teachers that this was for a presentation. The question, when I was posing it, I was actually working on a totally different project with a friend of mine, friend and colleague of mine, Mary Wright, who's a behavior analyst. And we were working on a totally different project. And once we got a few answers back from a few teachers, we realized, wow, we should really solicit more input from other teachers. So the first theme that we noticed was kind of a stay calm / be cool theme. Jen Nixon, who's a high school teacher, gives the analogy like a paramedic or the bomb squad. You need to remain calm and composed no matter how the student is behaving. You cannot let the student get you emotional because then you stop using sound logic in your communication and physical presence with the student. Losing your composure can lead to escalation of situations that could have easily been diffused. And then her colleague, Rob Adriel, had a similar response. He also works at the high school, same high school Jen does. He says, stay calm. Nothing sets our kids off more than when they know the teacher is about to jump in the emotional quicksand with them. Most likely, they'll already know the teacher's buttons in the first 5 to 10 minutes of class. So teachers need to become button proof. Don't show you're upset, even if you really are. Keep that poker face on. Make your comments in even and exact tones. Keep it simple. Don't over-engage. The reality is they want to get out of the quicksand themselves, so throw them a rope, but don't jump in after them. Stand firm, confident, and calm. Be empathetic, but don't placate them. Remind them of what is expected and encourage them that they can do it. Diane DeGasso is an elementary teacher and amazing at what she does. She says, remain calm and supportive towards the student. Many of our kids come from stressful family situations, and school and their classroom is the safest and most consistent place for them. I treat my students like they were my kids and explain to them that we are like a family when at school. We all support each other in my classroom. Students buy into this concept and help one another. It also helps to de-escalate a student from a complete meltdown. Another elementary EBD teacher who did not want to be named but is also a fabulous teacher says, do not let the student see you frustrated. Keep a calm demeanor. If they know what sets you off, they will use it time and time again. Another theme was pick your battles. Fran Lefebvre is a middle school teacher. She teaches a self-contained classroom at an alternative school. Prior to that, she taught at a separate day school. Fran says, pick your battles. Students with EBD tend to display several behavioral issues at once. Therefore, by choosing one, maybe two behaviors to focus on at a time, you tend to see improvement. Keep in mind, it's not easy nor quick to become EBD eligible, and often the behaviors have strong roots. Mark Lunt is a 3rd through 5th grade teacher. He teaches a self-contained classroom as well. He recommends setting the tone early, but don't be so rigid. When dealing with behavioral kids, you have to learn to overlook some things. Behavioral kids fidget, they daydream, they're not always on task, and they have quirks and tics that are annoying. You can't control it all. Don't try to crack down on every little thing. I first try to focus on the major issues, the issues that are causing the most disruption. If I see minor behaviors early on, I'll correct them and let the students know what I expect, but that's it. You have to pick your battles, though. Is the fact that the kid can't sit still or is constantly tapping a pencil on the desk that much of a problem? Once the severe behaviors are under control, then you can focus more on the minor behaviors. And he's had a lot of good success with that. Julie Carrero and Leslie Tobin teach a middle school classroom for students with EBD or severe emotional behavioral problems at a middle school. They say pick your battles, prioritize the top 3 behaviors that are absolutely unacceptable in your classroom. Then pick your battles, focusing on those 3 and allowing leeway for other behaviors. Another theme was be human. Tara Riva, who teaches at the high school self-contained classroom at an alternative school, says greet students at the door and say good morning. If you're having a bad day, share without much detail, for example, headache, back pain, you're tired, etc. We are human, and they seem to be able to relate better. Be firm but understanding. Jen Nixon says admit that you're human. If you lose your composure, apologize to the student and let them know that your behavior was inappropriate. Let the students know that you're angry, sad, happy, or excited and why you're experiencing those feelings. Julie and Leslie, who have a great time in their classroom with their kids, say laugh. Think back when you were a pre-teenager. Some silly things they do are disruptive and they can break the flow of their learning environment, but to them it's funny, and being funny is a social thing in middle school. On occasion, laugh with them, then regroup and get back on task. You'll find the events of purposeful, silly behavior will decrease because you enjoy it also, and they don't want you to have fun at all. Another theme was acknowledge the good. Leslie and Julie say baby steps. Praise even inappropriate behaviors when they're less frequent or slightly improved. For example, Billy yells out often, disturbing your class. The day he yells out less often, take the time to let Billy know you noticed and it was awesome. It will go a long way. The elementary teacher says make good phone calls home. It sets the tone that you're looking for positive behavior, not negative behavior. It also helps establish a good working relationship with the parent and guardian. Jen says perhaps the greatest skill needed for dealing with our students is patience. No matter how much we hope and wish, our students' behavior will not change overnight. You need to be ready to accept that what may seem like very little progress is really a huge change for the student, and be ready to celebrate even meager improvements. We need to be patient enough to give our students time to learn the new behavior, practice it, and generalize it into their everyday life. Fran says positive communication with parents. Many parents of students with EBD have been in this arena for years, hearing all the stories of their child's behavior. Try to find something positive that you can call the parent about. Know your students was another theme. Mark says get to know the kids. A lot of times students with behavior problems are the way they are because of the situations that they live in or things that they've experienced. Once you've walked in their shoes, so to speak, it sheds a new light on them. I'm not saying they should be excused for their behavior, but as a teacher, if you understand what they've been through or know what they are going through, it really does help. Knowing what their lives are like outside of school is useful when it comes to trying to build rapport with them. It can also help you to anticipate how they will react to certain situations. Jen says identify triggers and warning signs. Know what sets your kids off and take actions to negate the triggers. Don't just accept that the student is going to blow up every time you give him or her a math worksheet. Learn how to read the body language of your students. If you catch that they are upset early, you can diffuse the situation. Another theme was give respect and choices. The elementary teacher said, do not embarrass the student. Everyone needs to save face. Make students comfortable. If they like attention, give attention when they're appropriate. If they don't like attention, do not bring attention to their compliance publicly. Francis choices. When possible, provide students the opportunity to make choices. This will allow them to feel as if they have some level of control in their life. If the goal is to have the student complete 10 math problems, does it really matter which order they complete them in? Jen says respond to questions. If a student asks you a question, do not respond sarcastically or with a question. They're asking because they want to know the answer. This can lead to frustration and demonstration of inappropriate behaviors. Jen also says, recommends providing adequate wait time after we present a demand on the student. The amount of wait time needed for compliance is different for each student. Failure to provide adequate wait time can lead to escalation of behavior. I found that for some students, it takes them longer to convince themselves to comply, and if provided enough time, they will comply without further escalation. Those same students who need additional time to process their choice often seem more prone to escalate if they are readdressed too quickly by the teacher. Another theme was every day is a new day. Every day is a new day. Don't hold grudges, Julie and Leslie say. Let your students know that everyone makes mistakes, including them and you. Allow for mistakes and let them know that tomorrow or the next activity or whatever is a new opportunity to do the right thing, make the right choices, etc. You have to allow for regrouping and let whatever happened go. Tara Riva also says, make every day a new day. This is the most important for any student, but especially students with disabilities. It is difficult at times, especially if the teacher has been assaulted or cursed at, but it really seems to work with my population of students. Jen says, don't hold a grudge against the student for poor behavior the previous day. Every day is a new day, and express that to the student. This is a theme that I wanted to address. It was kind of embedded throughout, but no one comes out and says it. So I want to talk about it. Empathy. It sounds oh so simple. But empathy is the action of understanding, being aware of, being sensitive to, and vicariously experiencing the feelings, thoughts, and experiences of another, of either the past or present, without having the feelings, thoughts, and experience fully communicated in an objectively explicit manner. In other words, are also known as putting yourself in someone else's shoes. Our students with EBD need explicit instruction on empathy, and they need plenty of opportunities to practice empathy. But most of all, more than anything, they need adults working with them to experience empathy for them. The following poem was written from the perspective of a student with EBD who is being served in a separate day school or separate class. So I'm not going to have time to allow you to watch the whole video in this segment, but I do hope that you'll go and find it on YouTube. You can find it on YouTube by searching my station, which is TS Baldy, or searching Things I Need You to Know poem. As you watch and listen to it, try to empathize with the individual. Things I need you to know. I need lots of attention. Even when I swear at you, I still need your attention. I will talk endlessly about stuff like video games because that's all I'm really good at. I will do odd, quirky things that always seem to get weird looks from people. And when I tell you I don't care, it really means I just don't know how to let myself care. The four-letter word that makes me the most uncomfortable is SPED. S-P-E-D. I don't want to be here because it means I failed in order to get here. I've never belonged to things much in the past, and I learned a long time ago to reject you before you can reject me. Did I mention that I want your attention? I'll be looking for ways to get control by hitting your buttons and by splitting you against one another and against my family as well, and by sparking other kids to get in trouble, because control is something I've been without for quite a while. My file says I'm not retarded, but I think I am. My diagnosis crawls through my file like some sort of bug I want to squash. You will misunderstand me. You will assume I'm being lazy or manipulative or nasty on purpose. I really just don't know what else to do to not have to feel the way I feel. Every day my medication is a reminder of how I'm sick and you can't see how. Bald kids with cancer get cards and warm smiles. I get blamed and punished because I'm bad. And even if you tell me I'm not bad, I won't believe you. It's your job. So I'm going to just stop right there and click back over because I need to bring this to an end. And I just want to say a special thanks to Dr. Mitch Alblet. He's the author of that poem. Special thanks to Rob Adriel, Julie Carrero, Diane DeGasso, Fran Lefebvre, Mark Lunt, Jen Nixon, Tara Riva, Dr. Trent Rager, and Leslie Tobin for contributing to this presentation. And I hope that this has been informative, and I hope that you will use these strategies and share with other teachers who are supporting students with EBD in the mainstream setting.